Hussbus bus stop.
JP Hussey here, owner of the Hussey Team Mortgage Advisors, with this week's
Hussbus bus stop.
Number 1, go Birds. Number 2, let's talk about all this stuff in the news and on social media regarding this 50-year mortgage that is possibly being proposed. All right? So, it's kind of exhausting reading all this. First thing I want to tell you is anybody, all right, can manipulate numbers, okay, to make it look good or bad, okay? So it's not black and white. It can be very tough to see what the deal is, all right? Number 2, you're going to find out by the end of this video, which I'm going to try to keep 5-6 minutes or less, is the consensus is if something makes sense for your specific situation, then it could be good. If it doesn't, it could be bad. All right, so you have to have an advisor, someone that's going to look at your situation, because everybody's different with their long-term, short-term goals, right? If it makes sense, great. So you just want to have options, all right? So that's the first thing. That's going to be what I'm going to say at the end again, all right? But I did want to show some numbers, all right, kind of side by side for you to kind of show you the differences, all right? Remember, long-term, short-term goals, all right? Long-term is, hey, paying this loan down quicker, selling it because the homes are going to appreciate. Short-term is, okay, what's my monthly payment right now, right? So you have to kind of have an idea on that and then have someone walk you through it. So anyway, let's look at numbers, all right? So anyway, back in the day, all right, there was 15-year mortgages. Still are, by the way, 15-year mortgages. And that's scrunched down, all right? Then in the 70s, FDR, whoever it was, came up with a 30-year mortgage, which I didn't live then, don't know anything about it, but supposedly that was crazy, all right? And really, what a 30 years there for is to make things more affordable, all right? Because a 15-year scrunched, 30-year stretches it out, so the payments are lower, the monthly short-term payments, okay? And then a 50-year obviously keeps going more, all right? So let's just look at 15 versus 30 real quick. And for these examples, I'm going to hold this up right here for a minute. Maybe Lindsay will screenshot this or do something. But 15 versus 30, let's start there. So $500,000 loan amount. That's what we're going to do. Another thing people are saying, the longer the term, usually the higher the rate. The lower the term, the lower the rate. Okay? So that's something you have to be careful with when people show numbers. All right? And for the sake of this, it's usually about a half a point difference. All right? So $500,000 loan amount, 15-year, let's say at 5.5%. Payment would just be just over $4,000 per month. Obviously, a lot more going towards the principal, less towards interest for a better long term, but $4,000 per month. All right, 30-year, okay, at 6%, half a point higher than the 15 because it's a longer term. Payment is just under $3,000. All right, so for trying to be simple here, all right, about $1,000 difference per month, 15 versus 30 in today's world. That's a lot of money. All right, definitely is. $1,000 we can do some with. Tough to cut out $1,000 not using DoorDash or other stuff. I mean, you could, but $1,000 is a lot of money per month in today's world. No doubt about it. All right. So that would be your short term. You can't figure out long term right now? Let's look short term, figure it out. A lot of different scenarios you can do with your money. All right. Now, let's look at 30-year versus this possible new 50-year. All right. So again, $500,000 mortgage. 30-year at 6%. It's about $3,000 per month, right? It's $2,997. $3,000. Okay? A 50-year at a 6.5 rate, because again, longer term, a little bit of a higher rate, your payment is looking like it is about $2,818. All right? So you're looking at about $180 savings per month on a 50-year. All right? And I mean, you can look at math long term, and by the way, no one ever stays in a 30-year. I mean, you're going to refi or do something or sell it within 5-7 years, general average. right? No one ever stays in that 130 year for 30 years. It just doesn't happen. No one's going to stay in the 50 years, so it's a tool, all right, for your specific situation, all right? So $180. So remember, 15 versus 30, 15-year difference too, about $1,000 per month right now. Same situation. But 30 versus 50 is only about $180 per month. 180 is still a lot of money, but you might be able to figure that out somewhere else, right? Let's not use DoorDash for this week. Let's eat at home. Let's do this. You can work on being disciplined with your budget, okay? So there's not a big difference, 50 versus 30. Big one versus 15 and 30, all right? But it's meant for affordability, all right? This could make sense for people. I'm not sure. It's about your specific situation, about those goals and what works for you in this very moment, all right? Now, a lot of investors, there's been a 40-year interest only right now, all right, out there that investors use, which could be smart. Only paying interest, lower monthly payment, using funds to rehab the property, whatever it might be, sell it in a few years, knowing what it's going to be with appreciation, what you're doing to it, and then make some money on it in a big lump sum later on. That could be really smart. 50-year could be used in that situation, all right? If you know things are going to appreciate, which homes have appreciated? People aren't talking about appreciation. Sure, you're in 5 years, maybe your loan doesn't move that much, but that property has gone up 20, 30 grand. Okay, cool. So it depends on the situation, the area, who you are, short-term, long-term goals. All right? So it's going to make sense depending on what is good for you. But I wanted to show some hard math. All right, 15 versus 30 is $1,000. 50 versus 30 looks to be about $180 difference. All right? That's obviously a bunch of different factors involved, but that's some good math to know. Now, obviously, lower loan amount, higher loan amount, those numbers are going to get bigger or smaller, all right? So, again, bringing it full circle, all right? So I can be done talking about this because there's new products all the time, all right? This one's just catching big headlines. It's about what your short-term, what your long-term goals are, even though you can't predict making educated decisions. What's good for you and your family. I hope you have a great day.
Hussbus, bus stop.